50% of households in Colorado have dogs. So what does this mean for you if you're thinking about moving to Colorado and you don't like dogs? Well, I'll tell you that the dog owners here in Colorado are very considerate, so it shouldn't be a problem. But if you are a dog owner or you want to be a dog owner, this may just be the place for you. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about what it means to be a dog owner in Colorado. So this is my living in Colorado, lifestyles in Colorado, coming at you from Susan's Signature Homes. I'm Susan. So here we are in Colorado, where 50% of households have dogs. I'm going to tell you about how to pick a vet, which is super important. And then if you listen all the way through to the end, I'm going to give you a couple tips on hiking with dogs here in Colorado. Some important stuff. So please stay with me. If you have a dog, dogs, pets, want to have dogs, pets, what have you, here in Colorado, it can be hard as a renter. So I recommend buying. You're going to have more control and it's going to be easier to have a space where you can let your dog out. And it's going to enhance your lifestyle. So that's step one. The second thing we're going to talk about today is how do you pick a vet? I've used a lot of different vets in the time I've been here in Colorado, and I recently had to change vets because my vet retired. So what did I do? I looked for vets in my area. I called, I asked for pricing on a couple common procedures, like how much is a standard office visit? How much is a heartworm test? I asked about their hours, and I asked who owns the vet clinic. So the vet that I settled on is South Golden Pet Hospital. I live here in Golden, Colorado. This may not be convenient for you, but it's the process of finding the vet that is important. So once I found the vet, I started taking my dog to that vet location like once a week or when I could fit it in my schedule, and I would take him to the door and give him a treat. And then I would go in and walk around in the lobby and feed him treats. He met some of the staff. They seemed very kind, in my opinion, and were completely supportive of my approach to desensitizing my dog to their location. So recently, the big day came when I had to take my dog in for his vet appointment, and it went really well. And I'm going to tell you why I think it went really well. First of all, my vet is vet owned. So it's not a franchise, it's not a chain. It is owned by a vet. So I think that filters down to the culture, and I could tell that the staff enjoyed my pet. They were happy to be there. They seemed to really enjoy their jobs, and that made the whole experience better. They got down on the floor, they interacted with my dog. Altogether, we had a very good interaction because of all those things. The other thing that was important to me is that South Golden Pet Hospital is open 7 days a week. It seems like all the pet emergencies are on the weekend. So it's great to have my vet open on the weekends. They do surgery, they do urgent care. And so when that emergency happens, they are there. I don't have to go to some special emergency room hospital where I don't know what the rates are going to be and they're not familiar with my pet. So that's terrific. Altogether, super happy with that. They're also very conveniently located. They're right in the King Soopers parking lot. Super convenient. I can do all my errands and take my dog to the vet at the same time. So the last thing I wanted to talk about were some tips when hiking with your pet here in Colorado. First of all, you want to keep your pet on a leash. There are predators here, coyotes, for example, but the one we're going to talk about is the rattlesnake. Yes, we have rattlesnakes here in Colorado, and it is scary at times. I have crossed paths with rattlesnakes probably about 4 times now. They tend to move at different, the spring and the fall when the temperature is changing. They're kind of coming out of their hibernation or getting ready to go into hibernation. They seem to be on the move. But if you have your pet on a leash and stick to the trails, don't go kind of just like bushwhacking around out in the hills in Colorado. You want to stay on the trails. If you come across a rattlesnake, you're likely to find the rattlesnake already hears you coming, is coiled and rattling. So you'll hear them probably before you see them. You can stop. Believe me, your heart rate will go up and warn you. And you just back away. Don't try to step over the snake or go around it. And you want to reel your pet in. And, again, you've got your pet on a leash for a reason. If the awful happens, the terrible catastrophe that your pet is bitten by a rattlesnake, you want to know where a vet is that has rattlesnake antivenom. And that's another reason I like South Golden Pet Hospital. They keep rattlesnake antivenom in stock. So just to recap today, I'm talking with you about owning a dog here in Colorado, how to pick a vet, and making a recommendation for you to buy the place that you're going to live in rather than try to rent if you have pets. It's just going to be easier for you all around. And if I can help you with that journey, please reach out. I'm Susan Harrington with Susan Signature Homes. You can find me at susansignaturehomes.com.